In this guitar lesson, I'm going to teach you to play Travelling Alone by Jason Isbell. One of my favourite songs from one of my favourite contemporary American songwriters. Now you will need to put a capo on the 2nd fret of your guitar to follow along with this lesson. So pop a capo onto the 2nd fret. Later on I'll show you a strumming pattern and some of the intricacies of playing the song, but we'll start off by jumping straight in with the chords. I'm going to break the chords for the verse and chorus down for you in a minute, but let me start with a demo of the verse and then I'll do a demo of the chorus. So here is the verse. Mountains rough this time of year, they close the highway down, didn't even warn the town. And I've been stuck in 2nd gear, 15 miles or so, trying to beat the angry snow. I know every town worth passing through, but what good does no one do? No one to show 'em to. And here's a demo of the chorus. I've grown tired of traveling alone, tired of traveling alone. I've grown tired of traveling alone. Won't you ride with me? I've grown tired of traveling alone, tired of traveling alone. I've grown tired of traveling alone. Won't you ride with me? Ride with me, ride with me. So the song does have a bridge, but I'm going to start by breaking down the chords for the verse. And actually, first of all, I should really talk about the introduction. So the introduction is basically 4 bars of A minor relative to the capo, and it's going to sound like this. Now, what he's doing there in that introduction is just simply lifting his middle and ring fingers off of the 4th string and 3rd string respectively, and then putting them back on and sometimes hammering them on. So he's getting an effect that's a bit like this. So you can experiment by lifting and placing those 2 fingers back on again to get an effect similar to Jason Isbell's. So now we're into the verse proper, and that begins with a 1.5 bars staying on our A minor chord. Mountains rough this, and then we're going to move down to an A minor over G, and we can do that by just putting our little finger on the 6th string 3rd fret here relative to the capo. That's the note of G. In the bass there, that gives us our A minor over G chord. So we have this. Mountains rough this time of, and then we move to an F major chord. Yeah. Now I'd recommend this form of an F major because it enables you to do that little hammer-on that you heard me do there. And the way I'm doing that is by removing my middle finger from the 3rd string 2nd fret, so that string is open, and then hammering my middle finger back onto 3rd string 2nd fret. So we have this effect. Okay, if you played a bar F, you couldn't do that hammer on. Then we go on to a C chord. They close the highway down, and you can probably hear there's another hammer-on the 2nd bar on that C chord. Okay, and that hammer-on is on the 4th string, so to get it, you just remove your middle finger from 4th string 2nd fret to play that 4th string open, and then hammer the middle finger back on to that 4th string again. Close the highway down, didn't even, and then finally we're going to go to a G chord. And when we get to that G chord, we're going to alternate between regular G major, and this chord, G sus4. To get to that G sus4, you just need to put your index finger there on the second string, first fret relative to the capo. So it'll sound like this. Didn't even tell the town. Then we go back and we repeat exactly the same chord sequence for this second line. I've been fighting the second gear, 15 miles or so, trying to beat the angry snow. The last two lines of the verse are, and I know every town worth passing through, but what good does knowing do with no one to show him to? Lovely lyric. And for those two lines, we're going to have a different chord progression. It starts with 2 bars on E minor. I know every town worth, then 2 bars on D minor, passing through. But what good does? And then we go back to C major, no one do. There's our hammer on again, with no one to, and then we go to G major, show 'em to. I've grown, and then we're into the chorus. So the next thing we'll do is practice the verse together. Now, if you want to skip this part, just look at the chapter headings in the description and skip on to the next chapter you want to do, okay? But otherwise, I'm going to give you a count of 4, and then we'll come in and we'll play the verse together. And remember, the first chord is going to be A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mountains rough this time of year, they close the highway down, didn't even tell the time. I've been fighting the second year, 15 miles or so, trying to beat the angry snow. I know every town worth passing through. What good does no one do? No one to show him to. Okay, so let's look at that wonderful chorus next then. Now, you're going to find here you have pairs of bars, so 2 bars on each chord, and then you change chord, okay? And the first chord is C major, so 2 bars on that. I've grown tired of traveling alone. Change to G major, 2 bars on that. Tired of traveling alone, I've grown. Change to A minor, 2 bars on A minor. Tired of traveling alone, won't you? Then we're going to change to F major, and of course 2 bars on F major, and you'll find that little hammer on that we've already met is used in that F major again. Ride with me, I've grown. Now we're going to repeat that same sequence again now, so 2 bars on C. Tired of traveling alone. 2 bars on G major. Tired of traveling alone, I've grown. 2 bars on A minor. Tired of traveling alone, won't you? And 2 bars on F major. Ride with me, won't you? But this time on the end, we're going to go back to C for 2 bars. Ride with me. There's that hammer on the C there, and then to G major for 2 bars. Ride with me. So the next thing we'll do is practice the chorus together. Now, if you want to skip this part, just look at the chapter headings in the description and skip on to the next part. But if you want to practice with me, I'll give you a count of 3, then I'll start the singing, and then you come in. And the first chord, remember, is C major. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. I've grown tired of traveling alone. Tired of traveling alone. I've grown tired of traveling alone. Won't you ride with me? I've grown tired of traveling alone. Tired of traveling alone. I've grown tired ride with me, ride with me, ride with me. I'll show you the bridge to Travelling Alone in just a minute, but before I do that, please let me say, if you've been enjoying this video, please do hit the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe so that you'll be informed of all the future videos that I release. So let's look at the bridge now then. I'll start by demoing it to you. Here we go. Pain in the outside lane, I've grown tired of myself. Hard like a rebuilt heart, I don't know how much it's got left. So that bridge then starts with 3.5 bars on this chord. Now, relative to the capo, this is an A flat chord, but probably the easiest way to describe it for these purposes is it's an E-shaped bar chord at the 6th fret. Okay, so 3.5 bars on there. Pain in the outside lane, I'm tired of entering. Then we're going to move up 2 frets to a chord that relative to the bar chord is B flat, but again the easiest way to think of it is an E-shaped bar chord again at the 8th fret. Entering to my, and then we go to C major for 2 bars. Self. Then we repeat that chord sequence for the next line of the bridge. Hard like a rebuilt part, I don't know how much it's got left. And then the bridge ends with 2 bars on G major. So after that bridge there's an instrumental which uses the chorus chords, and then there's a final chorus. And at the end of that final chorus you end the song on basically the first 2 bars and 1 beat of the verse. So that's just this. Let's look at a strumming pattern for Travelling Alone now then. I think Jason Isbell is playing something similar to this on the recording. And so on. Now if we break that down, essentially that strumming pattern is down, 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 up, down, up. That's a bar. And if we count that out, that is 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. So putting that together with the A minor chord that the song starts with, you have this. Down, 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 up, down, up. The way to make that strumming pattern sound good is, first of all, hold your pick loosely in your hand. You know, don't hit the strings hard, try and caress them a little bit. And the other thing to do, as I often say, is to differentiate between the beats. So on the first beat and the third beat, that's where you want to bring out the bass notes. So on the A minor chord, that would be the 5th string, 4th string, perhaps a bit of the 3rd string. On some of the other chords, it would be 6, 5, 4, for example, on the G chord there. And on the 2nd and 4th beats, you want to bring out more of the treble. So 1 and 3 bass, 2 and 4 treble. 1, 2, 3 and 4 bass, treble, bass, treble, treble, treble. Try and aim for this kind of feel.